Turn this off. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the June 10th, 2025 Board of County Commissioners meeting. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. First thing on our agenda this morning are our minutes. Gentlemen, do we have any additions or corrections? Okay.
I move to approve the proceedings of the Board of County Commissioners for Montezuma County for May 27th, 2025 as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the proceedings of the Board of Commissioners, Montezuma County for May 27th, 2025. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, planning, come on down. We have a continued public hearing. We have the applicants here, okay. And since we continue this, Kim, I think we do have to call the roll, so we'll go from the beginning.
Commissioner Candelaria.
Here.
Commissioner Lindsay.
Here.
Commissioner Copenhaver.
Here.
Administrator Anderson.
Here.
Attorney Jaskowski.
Here.
Kim Purcell, County Clerk. Notice is hereby given that the Montezuma County Board of County Commissioners will hold a public hearing for review and determination of a proposed four-lot moderate subdivision in AR 3-9 and AR 10-34 rezoning application submitted by Troy Jaskowski on property located at 30261 Road H, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of 38.80 acres more or less, located south of Highway 160, east of Road 27, situated in Section 34, Township 36 North, Range 15 West, N.M.P.M. The hearing will be held Tuesday, June 10th, 2025 at 9 a.m. in the Commissioner's Hearing Room, Montezuma County Administrative Offices, 109 West Main, Cortez, Colorado. Interested persons may attend with input. Information may be obtained from the Planning Office online services at https://co-montezuma-co.smartgovcommunity.com public home. You may also contact the Planning Department at 970-565-2801 with questions. Dated the 29th day of May, 2025. Kim Purcell, Clerk, Board of County Commissioners, Montezuma County, Colorado. First published in the Journal on Wednesday, April 30th, 2025. And it's continued from May 27th, 2025 at 9:10 a.m.
All right, thank you, Kim. I'm going to just turn this over to you, Stephen, because I think that was the only question that we had in play, and then we can go from there.
Yeah, so just for the record, we had the board had continued this public hearing because there was a question about basically the use rights on Road H. And so I worked together with the planning department and the clerk's office to look at the records that the county has on file, and we found the deed for the subdivision, which confirms kind of what we had discussed, which is that that red road section in there was deeded as an easement for the property owners, essentially, when that subdivision was originally platted. And that easement is for egress and ingress over the particular strip of land. And it was conveyed to the parties who were the original owners and their heirs and assigns forever. And so the way that I understand that is that when property changes hands, when it's subdivided, whoever the property owner is at the time, they are assigning that use right that they had when this road was graded to the subsequent owners. So for our purposes, looking at this subdivision, this really gets back to the access rights for the road. I think for our purposes, I feel pretty comfortable representing that, any subdivision on this road, those property owners are going to have the same access rights to the road as the current property owners do. And so there is sufficient access essentially for, further subdivision or for whatever uses there are for these properties that are part of this original subdivision. Yep.
Good. Good. That's good.
Go ahead. Okay, and with that, I think we had already went through public comment, so we don't have to reopen that or rehash that. So I think then it's back to the board unless you have any questions for the planning and or the property owner. Otherwise, it's for us to make our decision.
Yeah, I have a question.
I don't,
Okay.
no, that's all I wanted answered was to know that that was a legal deal, that that had been dedicated that way, and that's fine.
Okay.
Sounds good to me. I move to approve this 4-lot moderate subdivision in AR 3 to 9 and AR 10 to 34 rezoning application submitted by Troy Jaskowski on property located at 3261 Road H, Cortez.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the proposed 4-lot moderate subdivision in AR 3 through 9 and AR 10 through 34 rezoning application submitted by Troy Jaskowski on property located at 30261 Road H, Cortez, Colorado. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I will close this public hearing and you are approved. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Next up, it looks like we have a Mylar to sign for the Michelle Ingvar? Or I'm sorry, it's actually the Morathore LLC property. All right.
We can. Anything we want in there.
That's why I'm not in charge. That's why I'm not in charge. Okay,
Need the other box?
okay. I went to move his coffee and it went all over the place. For the left-handed person, yeah. That's why I'm not allowed to do anything. Yeah.
You know, a number of years back, we went through the paperwork and got all that.
I think we're okay now. And it's a new pen.
See, if we had a window, we could hang it out the window and let it air dry.
See, I did it left-handed.
You could have just held it in front of the window in here.
Yeah, I know. Sitting there like commissioner's meeting with a coat on.
Is it a Monday for you? It's been a week of Mondays all month.
Yesterday was bad. I'll have to get the security. And when I get paid. Can you grab it?
I'm gonna ask them last time. Wow, I guess they're probably done.
Well, that wasn't on the agenda. That was fun.
All right.
And we do not have anything else at this point. Unless you have questions.
I don't think I have any.
I don't, thank you.
All
Thank
right,
you,
thank
guys.
you guys.
Appreciate it. I'm just gonna ask, do I have any public comment today?
No.
All right, well, we'll go right by public comment. And we are going to jump right into unfinished business. Yesterday afternoon in our workshop, we did have the Lodgers Tax Committee show up, and they gave us their recommendations for their grant awards this year. They obviously had more requests than they had enough money, but we did have their recommendations, and they are in front of us right now. For the Finish Line Racers, $3,000. Montezuma Heritage Museum, $10,000. Mancos Chamber, $59,000. The Galloping Goose, $7,500. Ute Mountain Rodeo, $5,000. Dolores Chamber, $59,000. Mancos Creative District, $16,000. Cortez Cultural Center Dances, $20,000. Mesa Verde Country, $125,000. And this expires pretty much all but $271.54 for the lodger's tax this year. We also discussed now that the legislature has allowed the county to go from 2% cap to a 6% cap. That discussion was had to stay in pace with the counties around us, so we'll have that discussion later in the year to see if we will or will not put that on the ballot. Again, that has to be voted on by our constituency, but it only affects people that are passing through that are heads in beds at motels, Airbnbs, VRBOs. So with that, gentlemen, that's in front of us today.
I would so move that we accept the Lodgers Tax Committee recommendations for expenditures of the Lodgers Tax Fund.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the recommendations from the Lodgers Tax Committee to the funds that were requested and the amounts presented. All those, is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, next up yesterday was presented by the Montezuma County Search and Rescue. This is a CPW, Colorado Parks and Wildlife, grant application submission form. I know the TBW seems a little bit odd, but it's basically when they find out what kind of funds they have left over is what they will disperse, and it can be anywhere between $8,000 to maybe $30,000 in the past. So with that,
I move to approve this Montezuma County grant application submission form for the Montezuma County Search and Rescue. It's a pass-through the Colorado Parks and Wildlife.
Second.
it's been moved and seconded to accept the Montezuma County grant application submission form for search and rescue as a pass-through with zero cast match. And the requested amount to be determined after the funds have been allocated. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, next up was a Public Health Department also had a grant, which is really hard to read right there, but I think the amount was 54,000.
41, 389, or 180, 138.
Okay, and this was basically to
That says
split two
54.
RN's time to administer
it's
these
54.
two grants. So with that, looks like 54.
54,
130.
54,
Yeah.
138,
Yeah.
54.
I move to approve this Montezuma County grant application submission form for the Public Health Department with Bobby Locke for the ELC COVID funding round 2 and 3 for in the amount of $54,138.91. there is no cash match.
Second.
So moved and seconded to accept the Montezuma County grant application submission form for the Public Health Department in the amount of $54,138.91 as a reimbursement with no cash match. Is there any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Next up was the SRS payment allocation. When we had our discussion with the school districts, since this was only 25% of what we normally get, 25% goes to Road and Bridge, 25% goes to the school districts, but the commissioners decided the 50% allocation that we have discretionary to our funds to go to the school districts, so they will be getting 75% of the funds. And it was split equally, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, which equals $8,912.91. Question?
No. I would so move we approve the disbursements of the SRS funds as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the SRS payment allocations as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, also yesterday in our workshop, we had the bids presented for the HVAC replacements. And the only thing, Travis, on this is we have the 3 low bids. Urban County Services, Comfort Air, and Annex 3. So were you able to look at the procurement policy? Was there is that 2% of that amount, or is it?
I looked again last night, and I just could not find it in the procurement policy.
Okay. Well, then we're probably going to be better off to keep with the lowest bid on each one of these, gentlemen. So what's your thoughts or pleasure?
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would so move we approve the HVAC heating, HVAC, which is, I can't remember.
Heating,
which-
ventilating, and air
Ventilation.
conditioning.
Air conditioning. Couldn't remember ventilation. Not that we don't do a lot of that up here, but I would so move we approve the HVAC replacements at the low bids of Urban County Services for the SO HVAC, Comfort Air for the coroner, and Integrated Services for Annex 3. Total, I don't have a total amount, do we, Travis? Down there at the bottom? Okay,
It's like 89,000, I think you said yesterday.
yeah.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to accept the 2025 HVAC replacement as presented as Urban County Services for the SO, Comfort Air for the coroner, and Integrated Services 3R for the Annex number 3. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next up, we also discussed this in our workshop yesterday. The landfill lease agreement, which is really not anything that we needed to approve or move on with. This is just basically day-to-day operations. So this we kind of will skip and go right by. However, we did then talk about the coalition effort for the landfill methane rulemaking, which is under 31, and the pledge and the commitment to the funds. And I think, Stephen, you pretty much laid this out yesterday. Mel does have $10,000 that he can push forward to this to help fight this with an attorney organization outside of this who works with CDPHE. So at this point in time, gentlemen, do you want to see if we have any other allocated funds, or should we just go with the 10,000 that Mel has and commit that right now?
I think we should just commit the 10,000 right now
Okay.
with the rider that we can advance at if we have to.
Yeah, and I'll just add, we do have a deadline of this Friday to get back to the other counties, so I do think it would be good to be making a commitment before that deadline so we can move forward, because this process is going to go fast.
Yeah, Regulation 31 is getting pushed by CDPHE pretty hard and fast, so,
Yeah.
perfect.
I would so move that we allocate the $10,000 to pledge to the coalition effort on landfill methane rulemaking. And also, if they need additional funds, they're welcome to come back and we'll go from there.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to pledge the $10,000 a commitment to the coalition efforts on landfill methane rulemaking. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next up, Travis, I'll let you take this, but this is the Eagle View contract acceptance. This is for the assessor's office, and this is for basically new pictometry so that we can get better views to help assess the properties that we have here in Montezuma County.
Yes, sir. So, obviously, we've talked about this extensively in the past. Stephen worked on the wording in the contract to ensure that we are in compliance with governmental budgeting laws. We have enough in our capital to allocate the first portion. They're ready to do the flyover. This should help us capture properties that are not on the tax roll or structures that need to be on the tax roll. So you just need authorization to sign this contract and move forward.
I move to sign this master service agreement between Montezuma County and Eagle View for the assessor's offices.
Second.
Been moved and seconded, accept the Eagle View contract for the assessor's office for the pictometry flyover. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Next up, we had also a discussion for the policies. You have a grant up here right now, Travis. guess
Yes,
I'm
sir. I
out
didn't
of
know
order.
if you wanted to start with the approval of the grant first before you done
Okay.
the policies.
All right, we'll do that. I don't see that on, but we can do this. This was also discussed yesterday. This is also just a $10,000 general operating for social services with no cash match. And it does help them in their needs of the functions that they are taking care of up there in social services.
You ready? I move to approve this Montezuma County grant application submission form for the general operating of social services for the senior, it's actually for the senior services on,
Yeah.
from November 2025 through October 2026 in the amount of $10,000.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the Montezuma County grant application submission form for the Montezuma County Department of Social Services for the senior services as a $10,000 grant. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
And I know yesterday, Commissioner, she presented this. It wasn't on the agenda, but she did present this as well for Human Services, the contract amendment.
So this is for the, continuing for the 5-year contract, correct? 22, 23, all the way to 26. And the total amount was 306,802. But this is an ongoing thing. Is this contract amendment something that we have to sign every year? Is that the way I understand that?
That's my understanding. If it's an amendment, we have to sign the amendments.
Okay. So this is just an ongoing funding through the fiscal years that are presented. So in 2025, it would be 65,713. Is there any other questions on this, gentlemen?
No.
Okay.
Do you have that, Gerald?
No.
What's that?
Okay, I would so move we approve contract amendment number 4 with the Colorado Department of Human Services and Economic Security, Economic and Workforce Support for the Department of Social Services of Montezuma County in the amount of, the ongoing amount, fiscal year 2025 is $65,713. Contract number is 21 IHGA 168846.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept and sign contract amendment number 4 to the original contract number 21, IHGA 168846, to the Department of Social Services with the Colorado Department of Human Services. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Do you have any others?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, then we're gonna go on to the policies and decisions. Kelly presented 4 yesterday, and these are basically housekeeping for the Department of Social Services. If you want to just scroll through them, Travis, and we'll do them all in one motion. This was the PII and the PHI, which the only discussion we had yesterday was if the PII was the same as it related to public health, which it is not. There is a difference in this. That was explained by the attorney, and then go through the others. We had others too, Travis? This one is for the falsifying documentation in the trial and the CAPS program. Again, this is just standard housekeeping. Our attorney has looked at all these. There is no issues or problems with any of these. Next one. The Montezuma County Senior Services Non-Discrimination Policy. Pretty short and sweet. Applies to all of the laws. And the last one, or was that it?
That was it, sir.
Okay. Do you have any questions or comments?
No.
Okay.
We're gonna pass policies that say we're gonna follow the law.
That's the idea, yeah.
I would so move we approve all of the policy amendments as presented from the Department of Social Services.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the policies as presented for the Social Services Department. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. You know, I've got to make this statement because it's just,
Aye,
it's
go ahead.
comical.
Throw it out
Because
there. Get 'em.
well, I mean, we're making decisions to accept policies that we're gonna follow the laws, but in reality, some of the laws that are coming out anymore are extremely hard for us to follow.
They really are.
And it's becoming a burden on some of the resources, some of the, costs that we struggle with on a day-to-day basis. So, I don't know, it's just, it's bizarre. I'll stop there. I'll go on with this meeting. All right, new business, liquor license. Jerry.
Good morning. My name is Jerry Frizzell. I work for Montezuma County Clerk and Recorder's Office. I'm here today to ask for a postponement of the liquor license for Maverick. Due to the difficulties they're having down right there, Sheriff's Office has not been able to do the 2 reports that I need from them, so I'd like to continue this until next Tuesday.
Until when?
Next Tuesday.
Okay.
The next meeting next Tuesday.
Okay. No problems. I don't think we need a formal motion on that. We'll just move it, down the road until
Okay.
next Tuesday.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And what were the issues? The SO can't?
He can't get into Maverick because of the sewer problem that they're having. They're having to dig out the sewer thing, so they've got to get into Maverick for Nallen to do his inspection. And
Okay.
so,
The one south, right?
the one south, the
Yeah.
new Maverick, the new
Okay.
Maverick south of
Yeah,
town.
yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
sorry, I should have said that, yes.
Okay. All right, we'll move it to next week.
Okay.
All right, thank you. All right. We also had a
Won't be done by next week
request.
either. They won't be done by next week either.
Might be the first floating
Really?
septic tank we have in Montezuma County.
I know.
For an intergovernmental agreement with Dolores County. Dolores County has lost their public health director, correct? And they are asking that we help them out to make sure that they keep going down the road. This is just an IGA basically stating that our public health department will work with them, but it will be reimbursement for our costs that we obviously have to get paid for. And I'll let
Yeah.
our
and
director.
Before we get too far into this, Commissioners, one thing, the way this IGA is written, it's actually an agreement between the Montezuma County Board of Health and the Dolores County Board of Health. So my recommendation is that we should take a recess from our commissioners meeting to reconvene as the Board of Health for the purposes of entering into this IGA. That's just the way that it's written up. The appointing or hiring the public health director is a function of the Board of Health, so I think that's probably the right way to do it.
Okay,
I would so move we go into recess from the Board of County Commissioners and open up the Montezuma County Board of Health.
Second.
it's been moved and seconded to recess the Board of County Commissioners meeting and reconvene as the Montezuma County Board of Health. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we are now here as the Board of Health. Ms. Locke,
Okay.
would you like
Okay.
to, Director Locke, go over anything else that we haven't? The only thing I didn't say is this is temporary. Hopefully it doesn't last more than 6 months. And they can find a director, but we are trying to help our brother, sister county to the north to help them
Absolutely.
through some troubled times.
Right. Yeah, and I think, I think everyone's had a chance to look this over, and I think, I've talked to Stephen about this, I've talked to Travis about this. I think the way Dolores County worded things, I think is all fine, and the reimbursement really will occur when we are asked to go out there. We're traveling, we're using county car to get there, it's our time. And the reasons we've already been asked to come out and provide a immunization clinic for their kids before they go back to school in July. So we want to be able to support them in that. So having this agreement in place will basically allow us to do that. And our reimbursement is really that time that it's going to take when we're out there on site to help them and support them. Historically, through all my years working with the health department, we oftentimes communicate with other directors in other parts of the state. We support each other, we answer each other's questions, we consult, we do that ongoing anyway. Because of the duration of time that this might be, I think having the agreement in place is a really good idea. But I don't see a need for compensation when we're talking over the phone and communicating and supporting in those ways. It's when we're out there. So, and that's basically what this agreement says. So, we track all of our time through time and effort. So we're going to make a Dolores County code so we can see exactly what time that we're spent out there and what we were doing out there. So it's all going to be trackable, and then we'll just invoice Dolores County on a monthly basis. So.
Okay, question?
If memory serves, we did this for quite a while, way back when.
That was probably before I was director.
Yes, I think so.
I've been in the health department, but this is before I was director. I've supported other counties, like in the hiring process and things, like when Archuleta opened up their own public health, I went over there and supported them, never needing an agreement in place because it was really, a one-day, it wasn't ongoing. This situation, being Dolores County, I do think is going to be challenging to hire the position. Hopefully it won't be that challenging, but I do, rural positions are just hard to find,
Right.
The pay isn't what you can make obviously in the bigger areas and things like that. So there's challenges to it. Finding the right fit is super important. So in that respect, it can take time just to find the right fit. So I don't know. And I think, don't quote me, I think the job closed last week, but, I'm going to reach out to Commissioner Stiasny today and kind of see where they are with things on that, because I don't know if they've had any applications. So,
I'd so move we sign the intergovernmental agreement to provide health services for Dolores County.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept and sign the IGA with Dolores County. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. That is all the business that we have for the Board of Health.
so will I, okay.
If-
Do you have, I have a paper one, but I actually wrote on it, so we don't want to use this one.
Before I leave here today, I'll get back with you and I'll get it signed.
Okay, perfect.
I don't have a DocuSign, but.
No,
I'll
we
copy-
don't have a DocuSign.
That's
It's
fine.
literally just a,
We'll print a clean copy and then I'll get it signed and get to Travis.
okay.
You'll have it.
Okay, all right.
in the next,
I'll make sure you get a copy too if Jeff
you'll
forgets.
both have it
Okay.
shortly and we'll scan it and email it to both
Okay,
of you.
great. And then I'll get it out to them. So, all right, thank you. You don't
Okay.
need me for anything else with this, right? That's it?
I don't think so.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, we are now going to,
Motion to adjourn the
to
Board of Health.
adjourn. That's what I was looking for.
Yep.
Been moved and seconded to adjourn the Board of Health, and we are now going to reconvene as the Board of County Commissioners meeting for June 10th. All right. We are basically through our agenda, so we're going to go into our reports. Mr. Tarnowski, what do you have for us?
Commissioners, last week I was at the County Attorney Conference for most of the week. I think it's usually a good conference. I thought it was a good conference this year, especially coming from a smaller county, getting to hear from the attorneys who were working on, I guess I would just call them some of the more like groundbreaking issues we've got going on in local government law and different things that impact counties, some lessons learned from counties who are further along on some things that we're also going through. So it was a good experience. I really learned a lot, and it's always good to get to meet some people face to face that you've talked to on the phone, things like that. As for things that were going on while I was up there, I did get an email from our friend Michelle Hickerson, who's the attorney from the Attorney General's office, who's working with us on the Ironwood case. She let me know, if you recall, our case to try to get the site cleaned up had kind of been frozen because Ironwood filed for bankruptcy when we were moving towards a sheriff's sale. Well, technically the sheriff's sale, a different party brought on the sheriff's sale, but it obviously affected the property and ownership of the property. And the U.S. trustee has filed a motion to dismiss that bankruptcy proceeding, alleging gross mismanagement of the site. And so for our purposes, we just need to keep seeing how that process is going to unfold. The U.S. trustee is saying they shouldn't be allowed to go through those protections that you have when you file for bankruptcy. So one way or the other, that'll resolve itself, and then we'll still need to deal with whatever happens. But it seems like another turn in the saga here with with this property and the county's attempts to get it cleaned up. No real actions for the county to take at this time. It's still tied up in that bankruptcy proceeding, but we'll just have to stay posted to see how that develops, if it develops, or if it is dismissed on the U.S. trustee's motion. Otherwise, you know, I've got all the child protection stuff, child support stuff. I'm in court, I think, tomorrow and Thursday for some different hearings. And then I've had 2 trials set kind of around Labor Day, end of the summertime, so I'll start preparing for those. Those are both in the child protection context. And then obviously just doing all the day-to-day, working with all the different departments. Any questions on anything?
I have none. Travis?
Gentlemen, before I get to my report, I need to do the payables for April. So general fund total, $1,243,262.50. Road and bridge fund, $323,920.33. Public health fund, $130,423.17. Capital fund, $28,924.34. Administration fund total, $14,875.30. Landfill fund, $112,381.96. Senior and transport fund total, $88,712.90. Check register total, $1,942,500.50. Social services, $1,356,328.31, with a total of $3,298,828.81.
Questions? Okay.
I move to approve the amounts for the general fund and all the other funds for Montezuma County for the month of April 2025 in the amount of $3,298,828.81.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the payables for the period of April 1st through April 30th for Montezuma County in the amount of $3,298,828.81. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So gentlemen, as it relates to my report, was at the CCI conference last week. It was actually a pretty interesting conference. I think a lot of the topics actually pertain to our county versus what happens in the metro area and the eastern slope. Commissioner Candelaria actually was able to come to a county administrator's breakout session on budgeting in uncertain times, and also attended a Board of Health training to try to learn some more about the Board of Health, and I think got certified.
I did get certified,
Yeah.
which was extremely unique to sit through that class and to go through that. It took the certification for the year and got it signed off, and it was all done. So I'm way ahead of you guys now. I just got lucky.
We always knew you were certified.
Certifiable. So that has been done. That training for the Board of Health for us has been done, which was actually good, because by the time you sat through the class, at the end of it, we usually didn't get anything. And now they had a form or a QR code that you could sign up for, and then it showed that you had taken the training. And this was just in-person training, so it was actually very good.
Let's see, I also attended the agrivoltaics for Colorado for solar farms and agricultural land underneath the solar panels. Navigating change, political crossroads, I attended that. Again, federal funding in flux. I don't know if it's in flux. I think it's pretty much all gone, is my understanding. Making sense of the long bill. Also attended how to pass a ballot measure. and then our district meetings, and I'll let Commissioner Candelaria expand on the district meetings. So that was it, gentlemen.
Okay, Ms. Purcell, do you have anything? Okay, Commissioner Copenacher.
I don't have much to report since we were out last week. I didn't attend the CCI meeting. This is rodeo week, so just to expand a little bit on what Mr. Candelaria was talking about, what the regulations do. At the rodeo, they have to have a veterinarian on the ground before that show can start, and you have to be there and sign out when it ends, even at the slack. So this week, between me and my daughter, we're gonna have to be there probably 3 hours Thursday morning, 3 or 4 hours Thursday morning, and every evening for the next few days. But this is just a regulation that was put on PRCA. Used to, we just had to be on call, but we have to be on the grounds before they can start the show, and you have to sign out after the show's there. We have to be there all the time. Just another regulation that costs a lot of money to those putting on this show. Just to expand on what Mr. Candelaria was talking about every time they pass a rule, there's an expense to it. I've said no.
Okay, because I'm going to say more.
We need to introduce Mr.
We will.
Two. Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. I don't have much to report. I thank Commissioner Candelaria for going to CCI in my stead, do some family, it wasn't problems, it was just some health stuff with my dad. And, but in that slack time, I did watch a podcast from the CEO of U-Haul. And all I can say is that it was pretty moving.
No pun intended. All right, very good.
That's the end of my report.
Well,
One other thing. I had plenty of time to look at my emails and everything, but I couldn't get them up. And if you guys downstairs are listening, we still can't get our email.
We've struggled for a while. There's been some changes due to trying for more security, which then you're trying to train a bunch of
Seniors.
seniors.
Almost
We'll anyway, the computer glitches have been a little bit frustrating, but we're working our way through them. So before I go on with my report, I see that we have our new road and bridge superintendent just walked into the room. Travis, I'm going to take this opportunity to go ahead and introduce him. Mr. Logston, if you'd go ahead and come up to the front of the room. I'm going to take this opportunity. This is Chris Logston. He's our new road and bridge. I'm sorry?
Curtis.
Curtis, I'm sorry. I was close. Sorry, Curtis.
Call me Kurt.
Kurt.
Hey, you.
And he is in today. Travis will be taking him out to the road and bridge this afternoon and kind of introducing him to himself. But we do have our new road and bridge superintendent on board, and we'll let him now take over the helm and start figuring out what the needs are in his perspective. Do you have anything, Kurt?
No, I'm glad to be here. I'm excited and plan on trying to get things going and going into the 21st century.
All right. Very good. Well, thank you, sir, and I'm sure we'll be seeing more of you as the days proceed.
Yeah. Best,
Thank you very much.
best of
Thank
luck
you.
and thank you.
Yeah.
You bet.
All right. So I was able to go to CCI last week, and as Travis already mentioned, there were several classes that I attended with him. Some of the bigger ones that I want to go over with are the unfunded mandates, and this went into our Western District meeting. And we're going to start putting together a list that is gonna get sent to the state, because as we prepare already for the 26th legislature, as their budget shortfall continues to grow, since the demographer class that we took, in other words, they just kicked the can down the road another year. It's even gonna get worse, which is gonna even push more mandates down on the county, which, in our Western District meeting, we had a huge conversation on this. And Mesa County already has a big list that they have started developing, which is going to affect all of us, which are equal. But, and they were already at like 8 million, I think, Travis, is what she said in there, of unfunded mandates that they're already having to deal with because of the state regulations they're putting down on us. We did a really good job this year of saying no to the state, anything that had a fiscal note with it. And I will promise you and assure you that we will do the same thing again this year, because there is just no more funding of their laws that they pass to push down if they can't fund them. So huge discussion, and that actually took place for all 3 days. As far as that goes on to this Regulation 31, which is another, it's going to be a mandate through CDPHE. It's through the state for this methane monitoring systems. And again, we've already just committed $10,000 worth of funding today to help the coalition fight this. So it just, they keep chipping at the stone, and it makes it difficult for us. We did talk to a lot of the vendors up there. Purple Wave, which is an auction site. We're going to give this a whirl instead of public surplus. So if you guys, anybody out there wanting to look at county property, you can, this time we're going to give Purple Wave a try. Hopefully we have a meeting scheduled with them on Thursday of this week, and then what we put on there will typically run for a period of 4 weeks. I know that we have several. I think in January, Rob had stated that we had a dump truck,
Bucket truck.
a bucket truck.
Yeah.
Those are still out there. We've got a few old sheriff's vehicles. We've got some disbursements that we need to get done. So we're going to try a new auction site. Had a lot of discussion on human resources and software, and pretty good conversations there. We also went to an asset management program in the evening one night. The program looks awesome, but I'll tell you what, it's going to take one FTE to be able to put all of the data in there. So not certain that that's something that we could use. The fleet management, we're looking at refining that also, and with enterprise that we actually also work with, you know, that might be something that we can explore. Like you said, the agrivoltaics class was pretty interesting. And the biggest thing here is, I think I told you, gentlemen, I met a guy out on the western slope of Colorado. But the DC of the large scale stuff is not as complex as I thought it was at one point in time. It's just what they're doing with the product afterwards. So more to come on that. I did attend the Dolores Town Hall meeting last night. Nothing super exciting. They did have their Riverfest over there. It sounds like everything went well. And that is all that I have.
I think that, for me personally, the state of Colorado could solve a lot of their problems if they would just reverse their energy policies. I know it's controversial to a lot of people, but looking at the state of Utah over in our neighboring county over there, they're getting ready to open up another mine over there, which is gonna bring a lot of revenue to San Juan County over there. And there's another one scheduled to open up in northern Utah, so Wyoming's opening up, and the state of Colorado, it's either gonna shrivel up and die on the vine, or they're gonna have to learn to compete.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to adjourn this June 10th, 2025 meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.